All right, picking up our next game here, Dignitas versus TSM. Both teams coming off of a loss. Pretty tough losses on both sides. Decent games, but not really showing up like they needed to. So this is going to be their chance for week one redemption against each other here. Both teams really looking to play around some carries here. Dignitas had a great showing from Viper, so we'll see if maybe they try to get something into his hands again, try to put some more power up in that top lane, allow him to do some shot calling, maybe do just the same kind of potential carry that he was setting himself up for in a lot of ways last time, but wasn't really able to execute on. Meanwhile, as per usual, lots of bans going out towards the bot lane, especially with TSM having double lift, having a very strong carry down there, someone who has for many years now proven to be an exceptionally skilled player, very good mechanically, and well able to carry a game should he get ahead. So a lot of the bans we've seen go out pretty much 100% of the time so far this split. Aphelios, Callista, Varus, Syndra, Ornn, Graves, couple in the jungle, bunch in the bot lane, and then just that safe CC heavy pick with Syndra being removed from the mid lane as I think pretty much every mid laner in the LCS and in probably every region is very proficient with her. Not a super difficult champion to step into and a lot of potential coming from her, so pretty safe removal from every team. It seems to more or less always be the blue side taking her away as well. Usually it seems like they don't want to first pick her, and they don't want to let the other team have her either. Dignitas locking in that Ezreal, going for a safe, easy, blind pick 80 carry for Johnson. Allow him to still have all of that damage potential, especially with the high poke, but not really be threatened by whatever TSM decides to pick up as their bot lane. Nothing that's really going to catch him out in a way that makes him too threatened, aside from, multiple CCs or TSM doing something clever to catch him while Arcane Shift is down, so that's going to be on Johnson to make sure he's keeping that one well prepared. TSM side grabbing the support and the jungler, two champions that are easy to blind pick, Yuumi and Trundle, taking that Yuumi away from Dignitas to not pair with the Ezreal, who makes for a very slippery bot lane. Instead, we'll see what they're going to do there with Biofrost taking that Yuumi, going to instead have a less of a playmaking support. We're not going to see him on a Nautilus, maybe a Thresh, or someone who can actually really hard engage and do these type of aggressive play styles down there in the bottom lane, and then seeing a Trundle for Spica. Trundle being a classic pick that we've seen many times so far, something that is safe, powerful, and really scales well into the late game, being something that can take a lot of the tankiness away from someone like Viper, who it looks like we've seen a set locked in for him, so he's going to be running that CC heavy damage, like decent damage, able to trade very well. So TSM are going to want to draft something that can either trade against set, maybe a Jace, or they're going to want to do something that is very tanky and can just survive all of the power that set can throw at them. With Ornn taken away, I could see an Aatrox being picked. Maybe we see an Urgot, even though we haven't seen much of that so far this split, but that ranged advantage would help a lot. The percent health damage, always nice, especially against Set, who can pop that shield up. Urgot can just burst a couple of the procs from the knees, get a bunch of damage quickly, and then back off, so that way he can avoid having to take the damage and have his damage prevented by that shield. So that could be a good pick as well, but definitely expecting to see something like an Aatrox just being the safe pick that it is, and something that we have seen before already. Grabbing the Lulu on Dignitas side, picking up the support, their bot lane finished. TSM grabbing the Misfortune, so we're going to see two bot lanes down there. The Misfortune, an interesting pick, being that Biofrost, going to be on that Yuumi, is not able to provide any type of hard CC beyond the ultimate to help double lift actually get out. Misfortune having no dashes or escapes herself. TSM are going to have to keep a lot of focus bot lane just to make sure that Dignitas rather is not taking advantage of an easy to gank bot lane. That being said, Yuumi does have a lot of heals. Yuumi does have the ability to make sure that in spite of the poke that Lulu Ezreal can provide, Double Lift can stay in the lane and just continue to build up to the big damage potential that Misfortune has. And we are going to see that Aatrox picked. That's going to be a safe pick for Broken Blade that will allow him to heal up from those damage and trade very well. Nidalee for Acadian. That's an aggressive jungler. We might see Acadian try to make some plays against Spica early, as Nidalee's dueling potential is significantly higher than Trundle's before 6. After 6, Trundle, I think, gets the advantage in the 1v1, just being that Nidalee doesn't get a proper ultimate, and Trundle's allows him a significant 1v1 presence. And then we're seeing that Orianna for Froggen, a comfort pick there, something that will allow for a lot of safety and a lot of damage. Once again, he's got the set to deliver the ball into the middle of TSM should the situation arise. Something that they tried in their last game and didn't really work too well for them. They never really had any situations where they got to use a ball delivery system and land a big shockwave. So definitely some eyes on Froggen. Gonna try and see him actually use that ultimate to much more effectiveness this game than he did last game. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how he plays there. 3 teleports on Dignitas' side to 3 on TSM's side. So a lot of map presence all around. And we've got that Corki for Bjergsen. So a little bit of poke damage to round out TSM's comp, but not only poke damage, a lot of safety with that inbuilt dash to his kit, and a lot of very long-range abilities, especially once he gets his ultimate. He's able to get CS or poke and harass from quite a good distance away. Going to allow him the safety he needs to make sure that he is not in too much danger, and going to make it so that way Acadian has a hard time looking at mid. Definitely looking to see the junglers try and get a bit of an advantage in the top lane for somebody, as well as definitely from Dignitas' side, I'm expecting a lot of pressure bot lane. TSM have drafted a very easy to gank bot lane, especially if the bot lane of Dignitas can control the lane, control the waves, and have the situation set up right for when Acadian is ready to come down. But that's going to be on them to make sure that they can make this lane very gankable, because TSM have the tools to make sure that they can survive the lane, but they don't have a lot of ability to escape a gank, to escape hard engage with the Yuumi Misfortune, especially pre-6. So I'm expecting, especially with Nidalee's early jungle pressure, or jungle clear speed rather, I'm expecting a gank bot lane from Acadian pre-6, level 3 or 4, maybe 1 back before he's looking to gank. I'm not expecting him to spend a ton of time farming early. I'm expecting him to want to gank mid or bot lane, probably bot lane, just because if they can get a big advantage there, it makes Dragon incredibly easy to take. But I'm expecting him to gank. I'm expecting Dignitas to look for some early moves around the map. TSM's comp does not allow for too much pressure pre-6. Aatrox is not as scary without his ultimate. Trundle is definitely not as scary without his ultimate. The Pillar allows for some control, but his damage potential is not super high. Corki, Misfortune, Yuumi, all of them gain a lot from their ultimate. Whereas on Dignitas' side, Nidalee has very high damage pre-6. Set has a lot of CC pre-6. That shield makes him very safe. Aphromoo on that Lulu is going to have a lot of slows, and shields are always very nice to have. So even pre-6, that's a great thing that he can do. And a big spear from Acadian going to land onto Spica there, just making sure that he is not allowed to gloat with that dance here in the start. That's a big chunk of damage. That was near full range spear. It looked like about 200 plus damage. So Acadian really showing the damage potential that Nidalee can have early on, especially in a 1v1, should he land that spear over a wall, be able to shift into Cougar form, jump in, land the abilities very quickly, and really burst down Spica in a way that he is not able to stay and continue the fight. So that's something that I'm looking for. I'm looking for TSM to try and keep their jungle warded, and I'm looking for Dignitas to try and push some wards deep into TSM's jungle. Acadian getting that jungle pressure is going to be a thing that really makes Spica's life hard, but it's going to be on both teams to really help make that happen, because without landing a spear or getting the hunt, Acadian is not going to be able to kill Spica very easily. So it's really on him having that pressure to be able to get that spear landed to make that 1v1 something scarier. So we'll see what happens there. Definitely going to be keeping an eye on the junglers, but now that the game is off, we're seeing the same types of just standard push back and forth. No one really going for early trades here. No one trying to play too hyper aggressively, pushing in the mid lane. Viper now starting to land a couple abilities here, but Broken Blade hitting 2 first, gonna get a big win in that trade, taking Viper down to half HP. Viper still not level 2. There we go. Now he's hit it. Now he's able to even up that trade. But Broken Blade getting that early level 2, allowing him to really punish Viper for that attempted engage. And now 1-2, landing 2 of the 3 Q combo onto Viper there. Broken Blade definitely not going to let up pressure, especially with how easily he can heal back any traded damage. Viper having to burn his pot there too, so Broken Blade definitely has a bit of an advantage in these fights. Viper hitting 3 first, trying to utilize a little bit of that advantage, but Broken Blade able to, once again, just keep healing it up. I'm definitely expecting Broken Blade to keep this pressure on. Down in the bot lane, TSM pushing in heavily, which I believe is probably something that Dignitas wants, because if they can keep this lane pushed, if they can keep it more on their side of the river, either freezing the lane or just letting TSM push, then for Doublelift and Biofrost to keep getting their experience, keep getting their gold, they're going to have to be overextended, which is going to allow Acadian to be looking for that bot lane. And now he's seeing out Spica and Bjergsen, not even going to try and contest, knowing that a 2v1 is not something he can take. That's going to be the top side of the map scuttle for TSM. Bottom side hasn't been taken either, but he's looking for an early gank up top lane or maybe just some counter jungling, but he's definitely waiting in the wings around Broken Blade. We'll see if Broken Blade overextends here, maybe makes this able to happen, but Dignitas landing a bunch of damage onto Doublelift, but getting it healed back up by Biofrost. A bunch of damage in return, a lot less easy to heal up when Aphromoo only has a shield. So TSM playing this bot lane pretty smart, trying to get some trades in, trying to just chip away at damage in a way that allows them to not really be bullied too heavily, but we'll see, because Ezreal only has the shield on Lulu as well. Not big damage items there, but Viper is taking a bunch of damage. Acadian showing his face, Broken Blade sidestepping the spear, stopping that dive from happening. Broken Blade at half HP, Viper at 300 HP, Acadian 3/4 health. Broken Blade's not showing too much fear, though, which, with Nidalee not having any CC on her own, there's not really a reason to, but Spica coming up, looks like he was hoping for that attempted dive from Dignitas, instead just seeing Broken Blade to safety, and now he has a little bit of freedom, now that he knows that that recall happened. Froggen up in the middle, the frozen domain, going to come out the pillar, Bjergsen going to land a bunch of damage, Spica coming in, and it's not going to be enough, forcing Froggen's flash so he can get under tower. Bjergsen really going in to land both the Q and I think he might have hit him with the dash as well, really trying to aggressively go in onto a good engage from Spica there, landing a nice pillar. Spica pushing into Dignitas' jungle, trying to contest these raptors with Acadian, but Froggen teleporting back. Spica's not really in a good place here. His flash is up, so he could have just jumped over the wall, had that turned too bad. Viper landing some good trades in the top after his back, getting that Executioner's Calling first item, making sure that he can cut down on Broken Blade's healing as much as possible, but being under tower, he's going to land a bunch of damage onto Viper. Viper not really able to continue the fight. Why is Viper taking this? That's an easy first blood for Broken Blade. Viper tanking tower shots while forcing the flash, sure, but that was a fight he didn't need to take. He was trying to push too aggressively for that first turret plate and ends up costing him his life, giving first blood over to his opponent there. That was not a good choice by Viper. It looked like too greedy, too aggressive, wanted that kill, wanted the turret plate, when really he didn't have the damage or the escape tools to really make that happen. Bit of an over-aggressive play there, and Broken Blade, no hesitation to punish it, evens up the CS lead, and then recalls himself, teleporting back, actually beating Viper to lane, whose teleport was down also. That's a big win for Broken Blade, but now that he's under tower himself, he's going to land a bunch of damage onto Viper. Viper trying to take advantage of a similar situation, but Broken Blade not overextending, making sure to get out of that quickly. Now he's coming down into the river where Spica and Bjergsen are closing in on Acadian and Froggen. That's going to be a pillar landing, forcing Acadian not to be able to jump the wall. Big damage back onto Spica with a spear, and Spica forced to flash to avoid the shockwave, which whiffs and hits nobody. Broken Blade jumping over the wall as Spica returns to his jungle, flashes the OK sign, and Dignitas have to walk back, not getting anything in return, but TSM not actually getting anything from their attempted rotation either. A pretty neutral move. Only thing gained out of it was Spica's flash. Now back to the bot lane. Doublelift landing big damage onto Johnson, almost taking him down, but the shield from Afromu possibly being the thing stopping him from fully going down. The TSM really showing the skill of their bot lane here, playing a matchup that could have been a very difficult one with the lack of mobility against one that has so much utility, but they're playing it high, rolling into their damage as fast as possible. And now with that 6 advantage on Doublelift, they may look for something heavy. Johnson only at half HP here. So Doublelift may look for that engage while he is up, but Johnson is caught up. He is 6 as well, but still, Doublelift's a much more immediate damage burst that may allow them something crazy. The ultimate was just thrown out by Johnson there, hitting Doublelift for a bit of damage, but Biofrost will be able to heal that up, no problem. Broken Blade here, just slow pushing the lane in, making sure to deny as much as possible to Viper, but not going to be able to do too much as the lane was very heavily stacked in his favor for pushing with all those caster minions, so he's going to have to just push it in eventually. Viper's going to be able to get all that CS and experience. And now, but TSM rotating down to the Rift Herald. They're going to get spotted out because Dignitas does control that Scuttle Crab, but not much Dignitas can do with Acadian down at the mid lane in the bottom side of the map while this was happening, and TSM are just going to take this cleanly, take this for free, no contest. But Acadian is pinging on the way. He's looking for the engage here. Froggen and Afromu nearby, but they're just a little too slow. Not going to be able to catch Spica out. He's going to get to safety and be able to recall, but he's looking for an engage here as Bjergsen uses the package, jump in on Froggen. Froggen going to land the shockwave on Bjergsen, but a bunch of follow-up damage going to be enough. Maybe no, an Afromu from shield. Oh, and that's going to be just enough from Bjergsen. The rotation up from Biofrost, the exhaust coming out, and the good pillar from Spica going to be enough to slow Froggen down enough that he cannot get to his turret fast, and Bjergsen able to do just barely enough damage to get that in spite of a almost clutch shield from Afromu there, but not quite enough. Going to be a good kill by TSM, burning a little bit of the tools there. Biofrost having to spend the exhaust, but since it translated into a kill, anything burned is worth. And that's going to be almost 2 turret plates for Bjergsen. So that's a bit of a gold surge for him there. He's got a bit of a CS lead as well. He's having a great time in this mid lane. Froggen, ending spending up a lot of money on mana items right now, so he's not got too high of a damage potential. Broken Blade trading with Viper here, showing that the Aatrox has a big advantage in the 1v1, especially in the early game, dealing a lot of damage while not getting too much in return, and able to heal up what little bit he has taken. He is having a great time in this 1v1. Spica utilizing that blast cone to jump the wall. That is the ultimate from Biofrost, going to force Afromu to ult himself, but die shortly after. Johnson, having burned that arcane shift, now forced to flash. The ultimate from Doublelift going to take him very low, and he's going to slip away with a sliver of health. Spica, knowing that they have this huge advantage here now with both Johnson gone and Afromu respawning, just going to burn that Rift Herald, and that's going to take this tower down immediately. That's a quick kill there, going to get that gold spread between the two of them, 240 about to all 3 members there. So a great play, translating into almost 2 kills and a turret, and they're looking to run this Rift Herald up to allow it to get a second charge here. Afromu might look to try and stop it, but no dice. It's going to take it just under or just over half HP down. A really good push from TSM, and they are looking towards Dragon possibly here, especially with Acadian up in the top lane, just continuing to farm. Yeah, Acadian not going to be able to contest this at all. 3 members top lane, so they may be looking for a gank onto Broken Blade, but TSM instead just going to take the objective. Broken Blade having played very safe while maintaining some solid aggression, never doing so at a point where it cost him or his team any type of pressure or any advantage there. Instead, his really good decision making up top, knowing when to shove, when to wait back, when to trade, has allowed TSM to claim the Rift Herald and not have to worry about top lane too much. In spite of Dignitas making sure to wait in the wings around there, and they've definitely devoted some attention up to top lane, it hasn't turned into anything yet. They have allowed TSM to really focus where they want to focus, allowed Spica to be ever present on the map. He's shown up in the bot lane, in the mid lane, in the top lane, and claimed several objectives: a turret, Rift Herald, Dragon, They have built up a 2,000 gold lead and have all the objectives that have been claimed in this game thus far. 2 dragons, actually. And so TSM really just getting an early grip on this game. Turret plates being claimed by Double Lift top lane at a trade for turret plates down in the bot lane for Johnson. Just a bit of gold being funneled over to those carries. Broken Blade going to find Acadian, go in on him, not knowing Aframu's right there. He's going to pop the ultimate, take a bunch of damage in return, but he's going to have to be forced to flash the wall. Acadian not done here, but he's going to take a bunch of damage for that flash. He's going to whiff the spear, not knowing Bjergsen is right over the wall. Going to fall back just enough, make sure that he does not overextend to the point where Bjergsen would jump in, and that would be a kill for TSM. But forcing the flash onto Broken Blade, having Broken Blade go in onto Acadian, not knowing Aframu was there to assist. Overall, a 1-for-1. That's a flash of Acadian, a flash for Broken Blade, but no kills either way. So pretty even trade there. Johnson going to take 1 turret shot just to make sure that that turret goes down. Double Lift, on the other hand, not having to take a turret shot. So I think that's a TSM advantage there, is 1-to-1 turrets traded on opposite sides of the map. Now, both bot lane outer turrets down, so a lot more freedom for both teams to move about that area of the map, which is huge with the dragons. So TSM up 2. Next dragon spawning in 3 minutes. TSM definitely looking to do their best to maintain some objective control and have that dragon soul as early as possible. Do not allow Dignitas to claim any of those. With Spica and his ability to chomp smite, he has a very good power to make sure that he wins the smite fight against Acadian, who doesn't have that same type of control very easily. Double Lift looking to come up top lane here and contest Viper's push. Double Lift knows that he has the ability to very likely duel Viper in a 1v1. If Viper chooses to go in very hard, then Double Lift would possibly be in trouble, but otherwise he is able to poke and harass and really have an easy time fighting 1v1 there. A little bit of a fight here around the blue buff as Dignitas trying to hand theirs over to Froggen. Spica trying to just make a little bit of an issue of that. He's standing on a ward for a minute there. Took him a second to realize that Vision Ward had spotted him out, but he's going to go ahead and clear that away. Broken Blade shoving in the bot lane, being significantly more effective at that with his lead as opposed to Viper's, but his lead has shrunk a little bit. He's not that far ahead. Can't imagine it's more than like 1,000 gold with 1 kill and 8 CS up. But with the turrets that TSM has claimed, that also is going to translate into a little more gold in his favor. TSM just rolling up for the second Rift Herald here. That's going to be uncontested as Acadian is in the TSM bot side jungle, nowhere near the Rift Herald. That's twice now that he has just been on the opposite side of the map, whether that's coincidence or really good map control and decision making from TSM. Either way, it's been in their favor. Bjergsen dealing a bunch of damage here flat out. Going to dodge the spear and make it so Acadian doesn't really have much ability to return fire here, but a lot of members of Dignitas nearby going to force Bjergsen back and not allow him to go in heavily on this kill. Broken Blade in the bot side jungle of Dignitas with 5 members roaming around. He's going to try and sneak the recall here. He's going to get caught by a spear, and this should be the end of Broken Blade as he goes in for a lot of damage on Acadian, but the shockwave from Froggen going to see that Acadian barely survives 200 HP, and he is going to go down, but TSM taking advantage of the split of Dignitas, going to take that mid lane turret with the Rift Herald, but Double Lift just continuing to push and farm, claim that top lane inner turret. TSM making sure that Broken Blade's sacrifice was not in vain as they are going to take 2 objectives in exchange. So TSM widening their gold lead a little up to 2,500. In Dignitas landing their first kill on the board. 1 turret to TSM's 4. So TSM definitely winning in the pushing game here, taking advantage of the shoving power that Double Lift has, the 1v1 power that Broken Blade has, and making sure to kind of keep him in these side lanes, continuing to push and force Dignitas to have somebody responding to him at all times, and preferably it's Johnson or Acadian. I don't think we've seen Froggen in that 1v1 yet, not sure how he would do, but not Viper because Broken Blade has already shown he can take Viper. TSM on this dragon, dealing a bunch of damage to it. Spica going to make sure that he just cleanly can get that smite, as Dignitas are not able to force this engage. TSM have an easy time keeping them back with the poke from Bjergsen, the ult threat from Double Lift, and Broken Blade's own wall of healing that he is the only person on Dignitas that has heal cut so far is Viper. So if Viper is not landing an auto or just some damage onto Broken Blade, then he can very easily heal tank a lot of these fights, especially if he's landing those Qs onto multiple members of Dignitas. Broken Blade having a Ninja Tabby already, going to make him safer from Viper and Johnson. He's got a bit of cooldown reduction, 20% already. So Broken Blade rather, going to be a bit of a menace, able to really be at the front line of these fights. And until more members of Dignitas get healing cut, he's not going to be able to be put down very easily. Spica going to step forward, see Froggen, going to stop that recall, going to force him to walk to a safer area, delay that recall just a little bit, clear out some wards, but not going to actually go for a kill, even though Bjergsen was nearby. Doublelift just making sure to stay in these solo lanes, and his experience gain is really showing for it. He's up 11 over Johnson's 10, one of the higher level people in the game, just under Broken Blade and Bjergsen, who are both 12. No members of Dignitas hitting 12 yet, but 4 members over there at 11, only to Spica, who is 9, and Biofrost, who is still 7. Aphromoo 8, not too much of a discrepancy between the supports there, but definitely a more well-rounded level lead on Dignitas' side, but TSM making sure that their carries have that little bit of extra benefit. TSM looking to roam in this bot side jungle here. Dignitas not going to have an easy time. That pillar forcing Aphromoo to flash over the wall with Spica, Doublelift, and Biofrost closing in on him. This red buff is going to spawn. Doublelift's going to take that very easily. Acadian nowhere nearby to even try and smite it away, but TSM going to make sure to claim this bot lane turret. Only a 3rd HP. This is going to be no problem. No one from Dignitas there to answer. Viper just making sure to stay nearby. Not really sure what the plan is here, as Acadian is just taking the Scuttle Crab up in the top river while TSM is sieging a Nexus turret. Viper's going to grab 2, pulled him under the tower, but he's going to take a bit of damage in return. Acadian finished his recall there. Dignitas rotating their members to force TSM off of that tower, but in exchange now they're just rolling up to mid lane looking to try and siege whatever lane is near a tower at all times, keeping this pressure on, keeping the foot on the gas. Dignitas not really answering too strong, but to their credit, TSM have not built a huge gold lead yet. In spite of their continued pressure, in spite of TSM being the ones taking the risks and trying to make the plays, not a lot of gain has happened. They have a lead, but it's not a huge one. It's not one that cannot be overcome. Spica taking a bunch of damage, but Johnson being ulted by both Biofrost and Doublelift is going to drop very quickly. Broken Blade going in onto Froggen, the exhaust burning, the shockwave going to pull him back. Spica going in onto Viper, taking a bunch of damage, but them get DSM land the kill on Viper in return. Dignitas forced to fall back as 2 members down to TSM's 0. Several members at low HP. TSM looking to rotate through, clear the jungle camps, secure these buffs that have spawned, deny stuff from Acadian. Baron is not up for 20 seconds. All of the members of Dignitas will be alive by then, so I do not see this turning into a fight for TSM, but seeing a replay here, the Frozen Domain is dropped. Johnson attempted to be going on. Spica going a little too aggressive for this turret. Takes a bunch of damage, dropped to a quarter HP. Johnson using the Arcane Shift to go in. Makes him vulnerable to the return ultimates from Doublelift and Bjergsen. Broken Blade then turning onto Froggen. The exhaust being burned, forcing that shockwave. Viper stepping forward, trying to make something happen with his CC potential, but not able to even throw the Haymaker out and ends up dying without burning that shield. Makes for an easy fight for TSM. The key ultimates on Dignitas from Viper and Froggen not actually doing anything in that fight, and Johnson getting killed first is really just cutting the damage potential that Dignitas have. Him using that Arcane Shift to go in onto Spica, jumping so far forward, really not the best play for that situation, really allowing TSM to capitalize, and they were absolutely ready to pull the trigger when that happened. Really good play by TSM there. But now, Dragon's up in 35 seconds. This is a very important dragon for Dignitas, because if they give this one up, especially if they give it up as easily as some of these past ones, and Spica going to fail the Blast Cone and end up in the middle of 5 members of Dignitas, but Broken Blade is nearby, but the ultimate from Viper going to ensure that in spite of anything TSM could have done to help him, he will still go down. 30 seconds on his death timer, Dragon up in 15. Dignitas may try to rush this while he is down, deny TSM the Ocean Soul here. They're definitely posing around the pit. They're making sure that they have the control here. They have wards on all sides, making sure that even in their own jungle, they know when TSM members are trying to flank Bjergsen, making sure to make his presence known. But he is also in a position to be a little scared. Dignitas could turn on him if they so choose, burning that package to get in the ultimate from Biofrost, not doing anything but Bjergsen dealing a ton of damage, going to kill Johnson and Acadian. Broken Blade going in, Viper popping the Haymaker for the shield, but he's going to die anyway, even without Smite. TSM shoving Dignitas off of the dragon, dealing a bunch of damage, winning that fight off of the back of Bjergsen, who is a monster, getting a third kill here, but that one actually going over to Biofrost in the end. Bjergsen not letting up on the gas pedal, chasing Froggen down, going for that ace. He's gonna find it. Ocean Soul and a 5-for-1 for TSM on the back of Bjergsen's package there, landing a very, very good ultimate through the pit, knocking back a bunch of members of Dignitas, dealing a bunch of burn damage, making it so he can kill Johnson very essentially immediately, and then follow up on killing Acadian. So there's no smite available for Dignitas, and the damage is all in TSM's favor there with the two of them down. Viper falling very shortly after, as he has no quick escape out of the pit, and he was well into that fight. TSM just going to roll up to the Baron now, take this cleanly with no contest from Dignitas, as they were still respawning from that ace. What was a 3.5 gold lead not too long ago turned into almost 10,000 already. Bjergsen here landing a bunch of poke, making sure that Dignitas feels his presence. The ward removed from that tri-brush, so Dignitas in the dark here. And this package right here going to start the fight from Bjergsen, deals a bunch of damage to Johnson as he is dropped by what looked like a phosphorus bomb and an ultimate shot from Bjergsen. Drops him almost immediately. Acadian flashes the wall to try and get away with his life, but isn't able to sneak that away. Viper dies shortly after. Bjergsen with Biofrost helping him out here, chasing down Froggen, who gets ultimated by Lulu. Lulu dies shortly after, not able to use any of that safety on herself. Froggen attempting to speed boost himself, drop Bjergsen down, but Bjergsen eventually gets that Valkyrie up, able to jump, close that gap, and finish him off, getting that ace. Really, really clean fight from TSM. The great engage from Bjergsen, allowing them to start that fight off exactly how they needed to, being down a member, able to blow up Johnson immediately so there was no threat, and now they're just sieging the base on all sides, utilizing that Baron buff. Mid lane going to fall near immediately, double lift going to ensure that that inhibitor falls before they back off. Bjergsen rotating top lane to start the push that way, while the rest of TSM rotates bot to continue this push and ensure that these buffed up minions are used to the fullest extent of their potential. Double lift waiting in the brush. Looks like they're trying to make Dignitas unaware of just how many members of TSM are here. Hopefully, I think the plan is to try and draw them into an engage where they send 2 members and then get ambushed by 3. TSM having full control of this front area of the jungle. Double lift pushing in the mid lane here. Now super minions charging down the mid lane, especially on top of the Baron buff. This is a lot of push potential that TSM has. 10,000 gold, 8 kills up, 6 turrets up, Ocean Soul. All of the cards are in TSM's favor right now, especially as they just continue this siege, not even trying to make any aggressive or flashy plays, just pushing top and bottom lane at the same time. A flank from Viper going in, grabbing Spica, chucking him in, not actually landing any damage on other members of TSM. Viper taking a bunch of damage in return. Spica managing to stay alive thanks to heals from Biofrost. The ult from Lulu keeping Viper up, but nothing gained here as Bjergsen is just taking the opportunity to knock down a Nexus turret. That's going to be the second inhibitor now falling. Top lane is being pushed in anyways. All 5 members of Dignitas are up, and they're just letting their base fall. They're not fighting for this engage. Viper's ultimate is down. The shockwave from Froggen is still available, but there is no attempt to get in on this fight. TSM just dismantling the base. They're on the Nexus now, dealing a bunch of damage. Double lift just continuing to knock, and Dignitas are just going to give this one up. A big shockwave here, but it's not going to be enough. It's too late. TSM are just pushing Dignitas back into their fountain and taking the rest of the Nexus here to win the game. 12,000 gold and a absolutely stellar finish there, but one can't help but wonder what Dignitas was thinking there. They had all 5 members up, even if they didn't have all the ultimates. They were just letting their base fall. They were just watching the towers drop. They watched the second inhibitor fall. It seemed like they were split by indecision on what to actually do in that last minute, and TSM just cleanly close it out, capitalizing on the fact that Dignitas aren't doing anything to clean out the rest of their base and win the game. Really well done, TSM. Full objective control from start to finish. Great plays by Bjergsen, and just an excellent showing through and through.